Another episode of Blogger's Corner with Brett.
Don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Good afternoon, this is Dr. Bones live here on a Friday, which means it's time for, I know I already got ahead of myself, but here we go.
And now it's time for another episode of Blogger's Corner with Brett.
Blogger's Corner with Brett. How are you, Brett?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Very well, thank you. So, I'm going to dive right into it here. Got quite a bit of rock news, but I'll be able to plow through it pretty quickly. I talked about this briefly last week. First and foremost, the Beastie Boys won. It was a $1.7 million lawsuit against Monster Energy for a copyright lawsuit because they used some of their songs and their promotional video on the website, and there was a lot of detail. But I think one of the funniest things about that about the whole article is it said that the employee was under the impression that was all right to use, and when he sent it to one of their mixers, the guy said, "Oh, cool, dope," and apparently that means it's all right in some form. So. I was a little, I got a good chuckle out of that, and that just didn't seem to make too much sense. But what it came down to is it's not just the copyright infringement, but just the fact that Adam Yonch, who recently passed away, in the will said that he didn't want any BC's music being used for commercial use and letting that sort of thing. So that's why they kind of jumped all over it right away. The other few things here is Robert Plant of Led Zeppelin. He and Jimmy Page are having I wouldn't necessarily say it's a feud. They're just having some words at this point because Jimmy Page wants to do a Led Zeppelin reunion and Robert Plant is not down with it. And they quote him in one of the articles that said, "I'm not an effing jukebox." And he pretty much responded to Jimmy Page's comment saying, Jimmy Page saying that he was fed up of waiting and having this put off, and he just. What Robert Plant said was he just told the reporters that Jimmy Page just needed to have a good rest to kind of let things settle a little bit. And right there just shows age right there that they're getting to the point where he just needs to sleep. Take a quick nap. You'll be all right.
Exactly.
So the other thing, the clip I was looking for and I found it, I couldn't get it loaded up. But Dave Coulier, otherwise Joey Gladstone from Full House, come on, cut it out, was what I was looking for. I couldn't get it loaded in time. But so right now, there's a rumor going around, and he also it's been in the Rolling Stone recently and he denies that he's the guy in Alanis Morissette's '95 hit song "You Ought to Know." And I don't know why it's been rumored, but. Because Dave Coulier, if people know, is Canadian as well. So, that rumor's been flying around. And in the article, it's Dave Coulier said, called Alanis Morissette up and said, well, the song's not about me, right? She goes, well, it could be about a number of people. She was like, well, why tell the press? Because I'm getting bombarded here. She goes, well, just tell them what you want. So, what he said is like, well, it's not him, but it's just funny that they'd mentioned him. And the reason why he's trying to deny being part of it, doesn't want to be a part of it, is not because the song isn't good, but mainly because the guy in the song is more or less an asshole. So you can see why he wants to steer clear of that, and I don't blame him for that. So that's been going on. That gave me a good chuckle. And you know what? This isn't the first time I heard it. I actually remember hearing it years ago too. So it was kind of funny to see it resurface again. Excuse me. Then good old Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses is saying there's actually a follow-up coming to their album that came out in 2008 called The Chinese Democracy. So apparently they have 2 albums ready to come out. They're just not saying when, but it should be fairly soon. If anybody still cares, I personally don't, but it's just Axl Rose is usually is somewhat entertaining because he's such a douche, but what we can do about that. The other thing is apparently they made a 3D movie, which I don't think is a good idea, and I will not be anywhere in line or anywhere to see that because I think it's just going to be a waste of time, personally.
Don't disagree.
I mean, if it was back then initially when their first album came out, Appetite Destruction, yeah, I can see that happening. I can see a lot more people jumping on board wanting to see it. But now it's just like, eh, there's not too many original members left, if any, except like maybe one, maybe two, if that. So I don't think people will be in too much of a rush or hurry to see that. And the two last things I have, actually pretty much is the last thing, is Gene Simmons is going to be co-producing a show on the Lifetime Network called Ugly Models.
What?
Yeah. So it's called Ugly Models, and apparently it hasn't made its way to the U.S. yet, so it's a UK show, and it's actually a UK company, and it's kind of interesting actually because they said pretty much they're looking for character models, and pretty much any look. I mean, the agency's motto is any beauty can be airbrushed, but we want to have some character. So it could be fairly interesting. So just because it says ugly doesn't necessarily mean they're ugly. It just may not be what society dictates it is.
I see. And is it supposed to be like you see what airbrushing does and the difference it makes?
No, I think they're actually just showing these people in their just in their natural look without like too much makeup and that sort of thing. So I think they may touch a bit on that, but they're more kind of putting out there that you don't need to be like about 6 foot, $110, and and that sort of thing, high cheekbones and that sort of deal.
I think that would be very beneficial for people to see.
So I mean, it's very interesting, and there's one other thing I almost forgot about. Good old Bieber keeps on giving Canada a good name, the douche he is. Now he's in trouble for a video he made apparently when he was 14, and extremely racist. And it's pretty much talks about killing African Americans and being part of the KKK.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gone a little far, and there's 3 articles on it, just pretty much what he and his lawyer are saying, and then it goes on to say that after it was made that he knew about it, so he told Usher and who else was one of his